everybody, I am currently surrounded by all the art from my first year of college. Here we have our sketchbooks from the first semester. This was a little exercise we did that we copied this side of the figure, and this is the part I drew. We drew this picture, but we were supposed to draw it upside down. I don't exactly know how to line it up at the moment. Maybe like this. We were trying to find leading lines in the picture. Then we did some of these no-tan drawings, which is where you just focus on the shadows. These are just really bad. My teacher wanted us to go out and hold these clear transparent papers up to a scene, and then as we're holding them up, try to trace that scene that we see. It was very uncomfortable. My teacher actually made this himself. Oops, it's upside down. He got a lot of material from a lot of different places. Das Buch, interesting, a curated collection of information. So he has some things from some quotes from artists, some excerpts from art texts or philosophy texts that we can look at on our own time, and he just gave us random assignments to do in this book, and we could do them wherever we found space. In addition to drawing class and 2D foundations, I was also in Intro to Graphic Design. I was able to find some pieces from that. My teacher always gave us these sheets of little rectangles, and he had us draw little thumbnail sketches in to plan each of our projects. So that was something that was really good for me because I don't usually plan out my drawings, and it's a really good habit to get into because your work ends up looking so much better when you plan it as opposed to when you don't plan it and you just kind of go straight into it. For one of our projects, we actually had to do a little mock poster to figure out how it would work. So I just folded a paper in two and made that. This was a poster, but it had to be an interactive poster, and so my idea was pretty simple. You can see this little section of the picture underneath, and then you open it up and you see that people are around her. This was my project one. We had to do a collage, and all these things that you see on here started out as physical things. Even the words and the picture of the heart and the picture of the galaxy background thing in space, whatever that is, those started out as pictures in books and magazines. The mirror I broke myself. The chain was a physical thing. The needle and thread were physical things. Oh, and there was even this little texture around the edges that was a physical thing. And I just scanned them all and put them all together on Photoshop and edited it to make this collage. Project 2 is on my laptop. Moving on, this is project 3. This was a logo, and so I decided to do a logo for myself. And I'm actually putting this on t-shirts and selling them, so you know, check out that description to buy one of these shirts. Next is a cartoon that we did on Adobe Illustrator. My first time using Adobe Illustrator. It was a lot of fun. I've always wanted to learn how to do digital art. We had to just do one panel of a cartoon comic funny situation thing. Moving on to drawing 1 class. I'll start out with the crappiest one. We did these little pictures to practice looking at light and dark. And so we did these really high contrast pictures, just focusing on the light parts. This one is supposed to be a statue of a lady, but it kind of smudged a lot. Here's another one. I'm sure some of you guys know what this statue is. It's famous, but I don't really know what it is. And I did this same statue of a man in this picture. This was after these little loose pictures. These were just mostly practice, and then this was like the final product. This was some other stuff from drawing 1, just practicing line drawings, no shading whatsoever. And this was actually something that I started doing, but I never finished. This was to practice 1-point perspective. Moving on to 2D foundations. 2D foundations really focused on non-representational things, composition, color, and so this was one of the exercises we did for that class. And for this exercise, he wanted us to like use what we had learned about color to figure out what color schemes. So for example, this one in the corner is split complementary. This was just a little plan that I did for one of my projects in 2D foundations that I'll show you on my laptop. I wanted to do something related to Alice in Wonderland, but like modernized. And here's some more of that planning, and I finally came up with my idea that I settled on right down here. And here are the paintings. If you follow me on Instagram or if you've seen my vlogs, you've probably seen these already. It's a series of 3. Here's 1, 2, and 3. So moving on to second semester, I'll start with drawing 2. We did a perspective drawing, and it was 2-point perspective. So these photos were what I used for that, just as like inspiration and also to help me figure out how to draw certain things. We did a copy drawing, like we used a grid and copied a famous piece, and I chose the Lady of Shalott. We also did transfer art, and we literally used the reference pictures like in our drawing. This is one of my friends from Instagram, and I printed out this picture of him and traced over the reference photo onto transfer paper, which then transferred it onto the transfer drawing, and that was a really cool piece. It was a lot of fun. So this is my sketchbook from that year, and we had sketchbook assignments. Some of those were to copy an old master's drawing. This is one that I did. Here's another one. This was a copy of one of Leonardo da Vinci's sketches. Here is some exercises that we did in drawing from life. This is actually the art building. And here is an unfinished still life drawing. And then here's the sketchbook. Moving on to 3D foundations, one of my projects was making a headdress, and this was some sketches that I did to try to figure out what my headdress would look like. And it has a few things kind of falling off of it, and I just place them at the top here. These are supposed to go, I don't even know where, like on the sides probably. The structure is cardboard, and then I painted that cardboard black. These gold things on here are the ends of spoons that I just painted gold and hot glued on, and then I just had a bunch of these fake like plants that I glued on the top of it. This one is actually the first project, the first big project that we did. We made boom boxes. We actually ordered the speakers and all the stuff that it needed to work and designed our own boom boxes. Cutting the record was the most difficult part. He really wanted us to focus on craftsmanship and making it look nice. So cutting the box out took a lot of work as well. And the project after that record project was making a sound piece that went along with the boombox that we created. And I will play that piece for you as I continue the video. Another one of our projects for 3D foundations was to create an art like proposition. I don't know if that's the right word, but basically propose an art project that we could do, and it could be anything because we weren't actually going to do this project. And then he got sections of all of those propositions together and put them in random order to create this thing. I'm not totally sure why we did that project, but it's kind of cool to see them all put together. And then I also had a final project for that semester. I had gone to an art museum and I had seen this whole paper cutting exhibit. So I wanted to do paper cutting, and this was just a little practice to see if I could actually do it. This was another practice, one that I liked much better. Final project is right here. So this was a lot of fun, took a lot of work. I cut out 4 layers of paper. I put lights in the back. I'll show you a picture or a video of what it looks with the lights in the back, but I don't have the lights right now because they belong to the art department. But I cut these holes in the back for the lights to go through. So this was definitely the best one of the 2 practicums that I did this year. So I also took painting class, but all of those are still at the art department at school, so I'll just show you those on my laptop. These paintings right here were not part of any class, but I did a talent show at my school, so these are all from the talent show. I did speed painting for the talent show, and this was the first time that I had ever done something like that. I have painted in front of my church before, but it was during the whole church service, and I had like 40 minutes to an hour to get it done. But for this piece, I had like 5 minutes. So I wanted to practice a lot, so I first started out doing poster boards, and I have a picture of myself with everything that I did. I've already sold 1 poster board and 1 painting on a canvas. In fact, the painting on a canvas was the one I did for the talent show. These others are just practice pieces. This is one of the poster boards. Actually, I did try doing it upside down, and this was the one that I tried upside down first. But I didn't feel quite comfortable with that to do it for the talent show, so I just did it right side up. This is the painting I did for the original audition, which is just the video audition. I did the video, and that one took about 5 minutes, but then I wanted to use up all my extra paint, and I wanted to make it look nice, so I just decided to finish it. This is what I did for my callback audition, and again, I did the painting for the callback audition in 5 minutes, but then I painted over it and fixed it so it's actually a finished painting. This is one of the 5-minute paintings that I did for practice. And by the way, those are all still for sale on Etsy. Link in description if you guys are interested. The next speed painting I did was for an end of the year event / show at my school called This Is Us, and it was about celebrating diversity and equality and all that good stuff. And so the president of SA contacted me because he had seen my thing at the talent show and he wanted me to do another speed painting for this event. So I came up with this idea, and I actually did these upside down. So this was definitely more simple than my talent show one, so it was easier to do upside down. And so basically I did this painting to the song We Are the World. So I drew a person as the world, and these colors in the background are supposed to represent all the different races. And then I wanted to have people come up to the stage and put their handprints on the painting edges. And so I did my handprints around the edge just to represent that. This is another practice piece that I did. And I did one practice piece on canvas. This is the final one that I did on stage, and these are all the handprints of people that came up on stage, and it was a really cool experience, and I'm just glad people came up to actually put their handprints on it, because I was kind of afraid I would just awkwardly be standing there begging people to come on stage. But yeah, it was really cool. So that's all the art I've done for this first year of college. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and a comment. And if you're not subscribed and you would like to see more videos like this, including art vlogs and the occasional cover, then hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next week with another art video, and this week with another vlog. Bye!